AMC was one of the top trending stocks on the day. Being up over double digits, how much higher can this stock go? But before we get into that, there is the closing bell, guys. With the S&Ps finishing the day up 4 points, this market spent most of this morning trying to find a bottom. Now when we zoom out and take a look at the night session, it looked promising come the European Open. Then we just tumbled and ultimately rolled right at the morning bell. Now when we look at it on a daily, the S&P put in a nice candle here. Look at the size of this volume. And when we take a look at the SPX, coming in this week, we expected 72 points of move. That lower edge was 38.33. We broke that this morning only to come up on that line, peel off to retest at lunch, and ultimately we're breaking off that lower edge. Now to go positive on the week, we're going to need to break 39.06. So look for that level in tomorrow's session to play a pivot. It's going to be the first hurdle on getting up on the week. Now that's largely going to come down to what the NASDAQ does. And when we take a look at the NASDAQ on the day, it was down 0.2%. Look at this volume coming out of the NASDAQ, and it was down over 3.3% at one point. So it spent most of the day coming back very aggressively, and look for technology to go green in tomorrow's session. However, what was the worst index on the day? That was the Russell 2000 being down over 0.75%. It was the NASDAQ, but ultimately technology stocks snapped back, and these small caps were the worst index on the day. Now, when we look at some of our sectors, the big five today was up 0.37%. So you can see it outperformed our NASDAQ, and it was a big boost to these S&Ps being up 4 points on the day. We even had stocks like Tesla that was down over 12%, closed just down 2%. You can just see that 690 level that I mentioned yesterday played a pivot. That's a 2 standard deviation move, and 690 is a very strong level in Tesla. As for other sectors, when we take a look at our top performing sector, the XLE today was up 1.6%. Energy continues to outperform, and the volume is backing it up. What else is up? Well, the financials are up 0.6%. So energy and financials are two sectors we like to see up, and both of them are very strong. However, there is some selling coming out of these financials, but they finished higher on the day. As for the XLK, we can see technology trying to find a bottom here. Can all three of these sectors manage to be positive in tomorrow's tape? You can just see right there, the software stocks today were our worst performing sector, down over 2.5%. This is why the Russell did so poorly today. However, it did manage to get a nice wick. So heading into tomorrow, it's going to be up to, can the technology sector get going? Are we going to see money rotate out of energy and financials into technology, or can all three work in tandem and power this market higher? That 39.06 level will be a key level in the SPX. So with our sectors leaning to the upside and our indexes getting positive, how did the bonds shape up today? And taking a look at these 30-year bonds, they're closing flat on the day. They broke lower. We're seeing the volume accelerate. However, when you look at the trade tab, these bonds are rolling over here in 2 days. So this is just in the midst of a roll moving into the next contract. However, when we take a look at the TNX was down 0.5%. However, it's still sitting at a 1.36 yield. So it's going to be something to keep an eye on. But when we take a look at volatility on the day, the VIX futures were down over 3%. Volume ramping up here. When we take a look at it intraday, they got that nice pop. However, they quickly retreated. And when we look at the VVIX, it was down about the same as the VIX futures, but just straight down, catching a tiny bit in the close. But for the most part, VVIX is coming back down to that 110 line. So volatility can calm down. That can give some investors hope to get long equities. Let's take a look at our dollar index, see how the commodities broke down, and talk a little bit about Bitcoin. Taking a look at the dollar index, it was up 0.15% today. It was briefly under 90, but quickly got bought back up. For the most part, the dollar did nothing. As for crude oil, we can see crude oil today put a new 52-week all-time high, however quickly pulled back. Just looking at it intraday, it was hit in the night session, but rolled as the day progressed. As for gold and silver, we see gold today was down $3 at $18.05. Bigger picture here, gold's just consolidating. And you see silver down 1.2%, for the most part, just consolidating. And then we have Bitcoin down 10%, but rallying very strong in these final minutes of close. Just taking a look at it, it got whacked as low as $45,000. Trying to find a floor here. This $45,000 could be a strong support, and we're peeling off of that, going higher in the closing minutes. However, the bigger picture here on Bitcoin, seeing this selling is a good sign. You don't want all these people to speculate into altcoin just thinking they buy anything and it goes up. This will shake some weak hands out, and it's great opportunities to buy on down days. There you have it for the stock market breakdown. Now, we saw this market roar back pretty aggressively. 3906 will be the hurdle in the SPX, so look for that level to play a pivot. If we can break that, we'll be positive on the week. It's going to come down to what technology can do. Can technology get going? Have they bottomed? And if they bottomed, will they rally with the financials and energy, or will we see some money rotate back into these big names like Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google? But enough of that, let's take a look at the top trending ticker on the day, and that was AMC. Now today, AMC was up over 17.5%, with a market cap of $2.6 billion. On a year-to-date, AMC is up 283%. So there was a little bit of news today on AMC, and they announced that they were reopening some theaters in New York. After being a target by Wall Street bets, AMC is looking optimistic at turning this company around. Now, when it comes to the options market, we take a look at it on an expected move. And coming into this week, we were expecting an 87-cent expected move. With the upper edge being around 657, you can see we're well above that level. So when it comes to a 2 standard deviation, 744 will play a 2 standard deviation, and a 3 standard deviation will play 831. As close as we can there. However, a 2.5 standard deviation is going to play 787. Try to get as close as I can. And when we take a look at it intraday, you can see we got rejected at the 2.5 standard deviation, and we're settling near the 2 sigma. So this 2 sigma could give it some potential trouble, and if we roll back down, you can just see on the week 657 was our upper edge. However, if it wants to get some momentum and possibly squeeze higher, look for 830 as a great opportunity to take some profits. There you have it for the top trending stock on the day, AMC. Did you get a chance to trade this stock? With an implied volatility of 188%, it's pretty crazy how much this stock can move, giving you a lot of opportunities to make potential profits. You have to be careful with this one. But if you didn't watch this stock, what are you guys looking at heading into tomorrow's session? I'd love to hear it. And if you've watched this far, guys, hit that thumbs up button. It means a lot when you guys show some support. And if you're watching me for the first time, show some love and hit that subscribe button. I do these market breakdowns daily. It would mean so much if you guys can just show some love and hit that button. But other than that, any comments or questions, feedback for me, leave it down below. I'd love to hear it. But on that note, I will see you in tomorrow's video. Have a great night, guys. Take care. Peace!